and welcome to the Your Town radio and television program. I am your host, Paul Farmer, representing the Salinas Valley Chamber of Commerce. Welcome. Our guest for today, segment one, we have Susan Barich, who represents not only the Marina Technology Cluster, but also a Monterey Bay Regional Business Plan competition that's going on, and she's got a big thing that we want to talk about, which is Project 17, local initiative, a contract for agriculture. So we'll talk about what that is. Welcome again to Susan.
Thank you.
Now, Susan, I'm going to start with all the hard questions.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite place in the whole wide world?
Cazadero, California, my cabin.
Okay. Did you know I was going to ask that question?
But I know my favorite place in the world.
Okay, it's a cabin. Okay, good. Well, let's talk a little bit about you. How long have you been in the area? Where did you come from? Things like that.
Okay, well, I was born in Menlo Park.
All right.
And reared there, went to school there, and I've lived in California almost all my life, except for a 1.5-year stint in Houston.
Houston, did you pick up a southern drawl at all?
I tried.
I tried.
Well, I got family from Chattanooga, so it comes natural.
Okay, it comes natural.
Y'all.
What were you doing in Texas?
Oh, my husband had some work there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we moved from Los Altos to Santa Cruz about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say 8 years ago, I was asked by someone to come and operate the business incubator on the former Fort Ord that is owned by the city of Marina. Mm-hmm. And so I've been doing that for the city of Marina for the last 8 years and have the whole family on the project now. We call it the winery. It's a family-owned business. So
okay.
We have a contract, my son and my husband and I, to run the incubator and manage the grant programs and so forth.
And that's what's commonly known as the Marina Technology Cluster,
That's
is that
correct.
right? And so it started 8 years ago, is that right?
It started 10 years ago. I was asked to come in and run it 8 years ago.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about that. What types of businesses are there? How long do they get to stay?
Oh, they get to stay as long as we need them there. We haven't kicked anybody out yet.
Okay.
Typically, business incubators have folks in there for 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
And just getting them up and running. Businesses in America startups have about an 80% fail rate. Startups across the nation that start up in a business incubator have an 85% success rate, that measured by the fact that they're still in business 5 years.
What do you think are the primary things that lead people to have such a high failure rate if they're not part of an incubator?
Well, just let me give you an example. So say you've got some great startup company and you get, you're into digital media and you get a contract with Sony and it's a $1 million contract over a 1-year period and you're so happy that you have this contract. Have you thought about how you're going to deliver on that contract? Where's the cash going to come from for you to actually do the work and pay the workers and so forth? Did you get some of that money up front? So all these little details about running a business that you may know your particular technology, whether it's agriculture or education or dentistry or photography, but what do you know about doing business? And so that's the piece that we can teach people. We don't teach people their expertise. Our people come to us with a tremendous amount of expertise, but we're able to teach them the business operations part.
Are you familiar with the book called The Entrepreneurial Myth or the E-Myth?
Mm-mm.
It's the crux of it is basically that there's a myth that people who start businesses do it because they were just born to be entrepreneurs and whatnot. The other is that just because you're good at carpentry doesn't mean that you're good at owning a business that does that. Or just because you're a great cook doesn't mean you should open a restaurant. Yeah. And lots of people think, oh my gosh, you should have a restaurant. Oh no, there's a lot more to it. So.
If you can open a restaurant, don't do it so that you can work less. I mean, you're going to be working 18 hours a day, and so these are the kinds of things that we teach people.
So what types of things do you do at the cluster, at the incubator, that enables such a high success rate?
Well, we have a common workspace, so right off the bat you've got a community of people who are all trying to start businesses. We have put in some sector focus areas, so in order to actually reside in the incubator, you have to be a technology company in a certain area, like green energy, agricultural technology, marine biology, and information technology, so that our consultants who come in then help you have expertise in those areas.
Oh, okay.
So you're really, when you're doing a sector-focused incubator, you're really saying what kind of expertise can we build around these people in the form of consultants, attorneys, accountants who know that type of business.
Good.
So that's the kind of help we're
Good.
able to
Now,
do.
I'm trying to think of a very easy, gentle segue from that into the Monterey Bay Regional Business Plan, because I'm sure they're related on some level.
Absolutely. So we started the business plan competition last year to promote the incubator and to promote some of the other entrepreneurship programs that are in the region. And I also personally, having moved here from the San Francisco Bay Area and having grown up there where that whole area around the bay grew organically as a region. And then when I moved to Santa Cruz, I noticed that I didn't see a lot in the Santa Cruz paper about what was going on in Monterey County, and when I was down in Monterey, I didn't see a lot about what was going on in Santa Cruz in the papers. I had to look in the San Francisco Chronicle to see what was going on in Monterey, for instance.
Really?
So I noticed that there seemed to be this kind of wall between Santa Cruz and Monterey, and so I'm really interested in doing regional projects that leverage the wealth and richness of the people in the Monterey area with the wealth and richness of the people and the skills and the talents in the Santa Cruz area, and then San Benito County as well.
What do we ascribe that wall to? What type? I mean, I know there's Watsonville in the middle, and there's a lot of strawberries.
I think there really are some historical reasons for it that people have told me about, but I don't think that those historical reasons need to stay there. I think that people are seeing the Monterey Crescent more as a unifying factor, agriculture as a unifying factor, and I know I'm trying to think of Sandy's last name, who teaches history at UC.
Leiden?
Sandy Leiden.
What is Leiden?
But he can tell you
Right.
those historical factors that led to this kind of division
Right.
between, and Sam Farr, I know, has an understanding of that as well.
But we
We've
should
spoken
tell him
about
it's
that.
been 50, 100 years. Get over it. Get over it. Grudge. You can hold a grudge for 10 years. That's what I say.
I don't know if it's grudge or if it's just different cultural things, but
Yeah.
but we're trying to do some regional projects, and we're starting off with the business plan competition. Last year, we had 62 applications from the 3 counties, from entrepreneurs in the 3 counties, and then we had an event that culminated with. Well, first we screen those 62, get them down to about a dozen, and then we ask those people to do a complete business plan. And then they also present to panels of funders and other people at an event in May. And last year it was May 7th at the Monterey Institute of International Studies, and it was a blast. If you want to see videos of it, go to mbrcompetition.com or .org. They all go to the same place. And click on the videos, and there are some great videos of people presenting their plans and just an overview video of the whole thing. We have a client at the incubator by the name of Marlene Kruger, and this is an ad for Marlene Kruger.
Okay.
And she's a videographer, and she's just great. And so when you look at if you look at the trailer that is at that site, Monterey, mbrcompetition.com. Under videos, it says trailer from the I don't know if it's a trailer for the 2011, I guess. And you can see what great work she does.
Great. Okay. Let's segue into, I've got a folder here that says Project 17 Agricultural Technology Cluster.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so the Obama administration, in its wisdom, has decided that we need to find new approaches to economic development. So they have asked all the agencies and administrations like SBA and so forth to identify regional industry clusters, which they are calling also, coincidentally, regional innovation clusters. So they're RICs or RICs. And to, instead of, for instance, USDA giving $500,000 to somebody in Salinas and NSF, National Science Foundation, funding $500,000 to CSUMB for something, and SBA, the Small Business Administration, funding the business incubator, they said, let's identify some players in that region and identify an industry cluster, which in this case is agriculture, and start kind of pouring the money focused into that one project so that it leverages out from the center, and you're not duplicating efforts, and you're getting more bang for your buck out of the grant money and the contract money. So we responded to an SBA, Small Business Administration proposal, request for response for one of these regional innovation clusters, and we said what we'd like to do is considering the tremendous agriculture that's in Monterey County, and I don't know, even if you live here, I'm not sure people realize that just the Salinas Valley, and now Pajaro Valley is starting to pick up a lot of this too and add to it, provides 85% of the nation's fresh vegetables and herbs.
Out of everything?
Of the whole country.
Oh, I didn't know it was like that.
See, Nebraska and Iowa, they just grow corn now for ethanol.
Corn is so yesterday. I'm just kidding. Sorry, corn people.
But we here grow, or you people here, I live in Santa Cruz, you folks here are growing 85% of the nation's fresh vegetables. That's the celery, the parsley, the cilantro, the bok choy. You guys grow crops here that nobody else in the country grows. Look at the artichokes right now. And 15% of the world's fresh vegetables come out of Salinas Valley. Now, my understanding is that this last year, strawberries have surpassed lettuce.
Well, they did, but if you really read the chart, they divide lettuce up into head lettuce and leaf lettuce. Because I read it, and I said, if you add those together, so it did as a category, strawberry. I love strawberry people.
Yeah.
They're clients of mine and happy people.
Yeah.
But yeah, they divide up lettuce into two separate ones.
Okay, well, the point is the giants of the industry, anybody in agriculture in the world has a presence in Salinas, even if they're not headquartered in Salinas. So what we are looking to do is look at the technology that comes over, and let me explain Project 17, the name. It's Congressional District 17. It's Santa Cruz, Monterey, and San Benito counties. Highway 17 to the north connects the region to Silicon Valley, which is the center of technology, and 17-mile drive in this area.
I've never realized all these 17s before.
Is emblematic of the beauty, why people want to live here. So I said, okay, we'll call this Project 17. It seems to...
Sounds good to me.
So what we're doing is dovetailing the technology that is so well established in Santa Cruz and even coming over from San Jose with the agricultural industry to try to help the ag industry increase their bottom line profitability, which has been shrinking over the last decade, and reduce their negative environmental impact so that we can feed the planet without causing any
So
are
a lot of those efforts at increasing crop yields, or is it coming up with new products like packaged salads and things like that, value-added products?
We need to look at what's my understanding of what's been reducing the profitability is that Walmart's getting a bigger cut and the farmers are getting a smaller cut, and that's been moving toward Walmart's advantage. And I'll use Walmart as an example, but it's the retailers. And pretty much Walmart is the gorilla who is setting a lot of these
the price points
yeah,
and the...
Yeah. They're the biggest person that you can sell to, so they call a lot of the shots. So technology, though, can help reduce, for instance, waste product. It can help reduce the possibility of having any recalls because of pathogens like E. coli.
On your point about the retailers taking a larger piece of the pie, are the providers or the vendors of these products, are they able to collaborate together with pricing, or is that price fixing?
It's probably illegal.
Probably illegal?
But the other thing that I know about these guys is that they're very siloed. They don't get together a lot, and I hope I'm not offending anybody, but I
try to offend at least three guests and 3 industry segments per show. So
okay, well, the agricultural industry, these big giants of agriculture, are very independent.
Well, yeah, I think
folks,
that,
and I'm not sure that they get together a lot unless there's an emergency.
Yeah, good point. I know that the California Strawberry Commission and there's the Grower Shippers Association as well. Sometimes they try to work together and recognize the commonalities, but I think a lot of times people inherently tend to see others as competitors.
Yep.
And then they, you know, who would have thought that putting all of the car dealers next to each other would be a good idea, or putting all the shoe companies together in the mall together would be a good idea. It takes, people have to change their minds on some of this to see the benefits. But.
And I think that some of that will happen, that they will band together, and not to fix prices, I mean, but just to say, how can we as an industry increase our ability to deliver healthy food to the nation and the world at a price that benefits, you know, keeps us from having to sell off our land.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of what I'm looking for.
And we can look at food safety as a less controversial topic, right? Which a problem with one farm affects everybody.
Oh yeah, and technology can help eliminate that. Technology can help pinpoint where pathogens come from. And so we have technologies now that can help producers to say, you know what, here's what I've been doing. This technology says I'm clean. Go look for somebody else. And so that the whole industry doesn't have to plow under their spinach fields again, like had that tragedy that happened years ago. When.
So are you doing outreach to the local ag companies?
Yep.
Are there ways for people to get in touch with, to learn more about Project 17? What do they do? Yeah,
Project 17, the website is www.project17, so project17-montereybay.com. And on the website you will find all kinds of ways to participate. We have an ag tech fund that we are starting for technology companies that need to get started so that they can supply technologies to the agricultural industry. We've got an asset inventory that we're working on for the region, for the Tri-County area. And an Ag Tech Association, that's another big one we're working on.
Okay, well great. I want to thank you, Susan, and the many hats that she wears. She didn't wear a physical hat today, but you wear many metaphorical hats with all of your different roles. Marina Technology Cluster, the Monterey Regional Business Plan Competition, and then Project 17 that we're talking about right now.
Okay.
Thanks again for being a guest.
And thank you for having me. This is great.
That was a pleasure.